So we really want to connect our sit bones, our butt bones, down to either your meditation pillow, your yoga block, the earth, or the chair. So just kind of move around, wiggle around a little bit until you really feel those sit bones connected. And then sometimes once I find my sit bones connected, I feel like, oh, now my hips are weird. So then you can move your feet. You can kind of, whatever you might need to find a nice even position here. And then if you feel safe and ready, let your eyes start to close. As always, we're just going to use our breath to pull us into the body, out of whatever we were just doing. So as you take a big inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth and make it longer than that inhale. Do a few rounds of this. Inhale. Long, slow exhale. I'm going to do one more, but feel free to do as many as you'd like. With your hands on your thighs, gently start to take some small circles through the torso, like moving your shoulders. If you want, you can kind of scoop the ribs around a little bit, but really I want you to just envision like you're corkscrewing down into the earth, down into your mat, taking those big breaths. Slowly go the other way. Just start to sink down. Maybe you envision a root coming out of your sit bones, going down, 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 where the corkscrew might be more what you're envisioning. Good, and then slowly find those sit bones again and just lengthen through the spine, nice and tall. Continue taking some soft, long breaths here. Slowly bring all of your awareness to your feet. Just notice the sensations in the toes, in the arches, in the ankles. And slowly send your soft, long breath right to your feet. Let that breath fill up your ankles, your calves, your shins, your knees, your thighs. A few more breaths to really fill up those legs, really notice the sensations. Really feeling your body. Beautiful. Just a few more moments here. Now, if you haven't already, start to envision roots coming out of your legs, your shins, your ankles, your feet, your sit bones. And on the long, slow, soft exhale, send those roots down deep into the earth. Feel the moist soil. Maybe deeper it becomes rock. Maybe even deeper you get all the way to the center of the earth, nice and hot. So maybe you feel some warmth in the roots. All right, take one big breath in, pull energy up from the earth. Out the mouth, exhale. Beautiful. Slowly let your eyes start to flutter open. We're going to take a seated butterfly. You can stay on your pillow, that's sometimes nice. You're just going to bring the soles of the feet together out in front. If the hips are a little upset or cranky, you can put things underneath the backs. You have the option of kind of hanging on to knees or shins or ankles and just sitting tall. or starting to fold forward. I like lots of props. I make like a little ramp, and then slowly you can fold forward into the pose. So you want to find about, if you had to think about the level of stretch, you want it to be like a 7 out of 10, 70%. We're 70% finding a physical stretch. And then we're leaving 30% space for whatever needs to flow through. So continue those long, beautiful breaths. And on the exhale, just really allow that space to be there. Maybe you create more space for yourself by really just bringing your thoughts and your focus back to your breath every time you notice that you wandered. Today's practice is a grounding practice. Just meaning that we are intentionally connecting to the earth and to our bodies. The earth is a natural source for us to gain nourishment, power, stability, and growth. But we have to send our roots down in order to connect to this energy. So use this last minute to really send the roots. Maybe you envision that corkscrew. Maybe you just bring a bright red light to your legs and let that fill up. Take one more big full breath. Sigh it out. And then whenever you're ready, just slowly start to rise up, listening to the body. If you want, you can take a moment to windshield wiper the legs or to lengthen them. And then we're gonna take deer or pigeon. So you can crawl into one side if you know. If you need some guidance, bring your feet back to butterfly to start. It's a good way to start. And then you're gonna bring one leg behind. So deer pose, we keep that leg bent and close. And then from there, you can again just sit tall, sending your roots down. You can fold forward onto pillows over the front shin, or you can take a twist and twist on the outside of that front leg. Pigeon, of course, you'll take that leg long behind you. Bringing support under the front hip so that the knees feel safe. You can put pillows here. And of course, you can put pillows under your forearms, your belly. Basically, you're just listening for where there's too much tension that does not feel safe, and then use your props to try and lessen the tension. As soon as you find something that feels good and safe, bring that breath back in. And really take a moment to connect to the earth energy below us. Without this connection, we are separated from nature, from our biological source. And when we're cut off from this source, we tend to lose our path, or at least feel like we've lost our way. We've lost that pathway for us. Sometimes we're so busy looking up for answers or to the future instead of where the feet actually meet the path, where the feet actually stand and take their steps. So if you want, for a few moments, you can visualize your feet standing in earth, or you can return to sending roots down. One more minute here, returning that breath, nice, long, slow, deep breath. Take a big breath in. Open your mouth and really release the air. Very slowly. Rising up, we'll bring the legs to wherever feels safe. So bring them out in front. You can give them a shimmy, a shake. Some of you might be called to a down dog or something of that sort. Just take a moment. I sometimes like to take a moment and feel the one leg that's been stretched versus the leg that hasn't. And again, just noticing the body. Not for judgment, just awareness, just connection. And then whenever you're ready, we'll set up on the other side, okay? So if you need to return to your butterfly, you'll flip that other leg under. And this side might be a little different. There are different energies on the different sides of the body. There's also, we carry things on one arm, generally we get in the habit, or we step up onto things with the same leg. So just see what feels best and start to sink in. As we breathe on this side, I want you to just notice if you are feeling any strong emotions. Maybe not right this moment, maybe earlier this week, you were having some strong sensations. We're going to give that 30% space that we left to maybe let these emotions flow through. When we emote or express our emotions, we allow the sensation to come in, to kind of fill up the body, really receive its message, and then work with the body to release it. The word emotion comes from the Latin word movere, which is to move, and e is to move out. So if you have that sensation now, or you had it earlier in the week, take a moment to see if you can name the emotion. Was it anger? Was it fear? Was it sadness? Hopeful? Yeah, maybe you were hopeful. Maybe that was a really strong emotion. Maybe it was more like hopelessness or grief. Just take a moment. If you can't quite pinpoint it, you can try to finish the statement, I feel, or I felt, and just let it roll out. Give yourself permission to feel your emotions. I know many of us were taught that that's not something we talk about. So of course we grew up feeling like it was bad to have emotions. I feel lots of emotions, and so for a long time I felt like I was crazy. But that's the problem. Emotional was equated to unreasonable or crazy. Our emotions are simply a little message, like a text message, right? We receive it, we see if we can name it, and then we work with the body to release it. We can release through big breath, through physical movement, through using your voice and your words, using art, dance, or simply writing in a journal to express how you feel. It takes so much energy to repress our emotions. Take a few more big breaths here, really connecting with what that feeling and sensation is. And when you're ready, we're going to slowly roll all the way back up. Bring the legs around again, giving them a shimmy or a shake. It's okay if now you feel that sensation in your body. It's okay if now all of a sudden you're like, man, I feel sad again, or man, I'm feeling some grief. That's okay. We're in a safe space for that. We're allowing it to move through so that we don't continue to hold it in and have to use all that energy. Come down to your back. We're going to release some right here. So come down to your back. And we're going to slowly take a twist. Remember, you can start mellow, feet on the floor, feet together, and drop your knees to one side. If you need, you can put pillows underneath. If you want a little more, you can hug your knees up towards your heart a little more, and then drop them. It becomes a different sensation. You can put props between the knees. You can put it under your shoulder if that feels uncomfortable. You just want a nice little twist through the center of the body. Take some big, long breaths, giving yourself permission to feel your feelings. They were meant to be felt. You are worthy of listening to your body and your emotions. If you'd like to take it a little further, notice the sensations of that emotion. Is it in your belly? Is it in your throat? Is it in your heart? Is it in your shoulder or your hip? Our emotions can just be a little group of friends, you know, maybe like the seven dwarfs, right? They're not bad. Sometimes they're just coming with not so great news, like, hey, I think maybe we need to shift. Maybe we need to stop doing this. I'm feeling a little sad. Can we switch? Can we change? So get to know the emotion, get to know the sensation. If you're being called to take big exhales out the mouth, do it. That's the body releasing. If you feel a little tear welling up, let it flow. You are safe here to express your emotions. Don't spend that energy holding it in, let it flow. What you'll find is as you start to let these emotions flow freely through, you know, sometimes it takes work of noticing and letting it flow through. And what you'll find is the discomfort is only there for a short bit. It releases. It flows out. It moves out when you allow it to move out. Now, it might return, right? You might have more layers to process, but that's okay. When you feel it come back in, greet your little guest and say, okay, let me take a moment with you here. Maybe you're feeling really good. Maybe you had your emotional swing last week, right? We sometimes go in ebbs and flows. So if you're feeling really good, amplify that. Get to know what joy feels like in your body. Get to know what happiness, contentment, gratitude, what does it feel like? One more big long breath here. Let it go. Very slowly. Bring yourself back to center. Listen to the body. Do what feels good. Maybe you hug the knees to center, rock side to side. Maybe you stretch the legs long up to the sky. Maybe you're called to a happy baby for a moment. And then when you're ready, we'll set up on the other side. Remember, each side's different. So try a version, see how it feels. If it feels more than 70%, make an adjustment. Slowly bring your awareness to the belly, where our internal fire lives, right? It's where we digest our food, but also we can digest our emotions here. And see a little fire burning. Maybe it's a big fire. See your fire burning. Maybe it's in a beautiful little fireplace. Maybe it's outdoors. Maybe it's on the beach. See your fire burning here. Once you have a clear understanding, so maybe you don't see it, right? Sometimes for me, I don't clearly see a fire, but I know it's there. I can tell it's there. I can feel a little warmth in my belly. So once you've connected to this fire, throw that emotion in the fire. Not to necessarily just get rid of it, but to process it. So throw that anger on the fire, throw that grief on the fire, throw that sense of unworthiness, throw it on the fire. Notice if it slowly burns or if it just completely envelops in flames. And again, if you're feeling good, throw that emotion in there to empower it, to ignite it, to send it bigger and brighter. Continue to allow whatever comes up to come up and to move out. One more big breath. Send it right to the fire. Slowly roll to the side that your knees are tilted to and find a little fetal pose. And then it's up to you. You can continue burning that emotion if you feel like, so maybe if you did see it burning really slow, you can continue. If you feel like it's done its work, you can kind of take this moment to calm that fire. Watch it die down a little. But again, if you're being called to like continue letting it roar, let it roar. Very slowly, we're going to come to tabletop hands and knees. So press through this top arm to press yourself up. So let's create a nice solid foundation here. Spread your fingers wide. I like my knees about hip width apart, and I always tuck my toes like push-up toes. For some reason, I feel a little more grounded, but you can untuck too. You're gonna press through your fingertips like you're trying to claw through your yoga mat, just gently so that you wake up your forearms and that the wrists aren't doing all the work. When you're ready, we're gonna drop your belly, inhale and look up. And then exhale, round it out. Press your hands down into the earth so you can round like an angry cat. Drop your belly, inhale, look up. Exhale, round it out. And just continue flowing through here. Cat-cows are a beautiful way to release energy. The back and forth motion opens the heart on both sides. It also opens and closes all of our chakras. It doesn't really open and close, but it like pulls energy through and spins in different directions. So just pull that energy back and forth. If you're ready, you can start to add more movement. Sway your hips side to side. Circling through. Maybe if you felt your emotion specifically in your belly, you bring a little more intention to the belly. Or maybe you felt it in the heart and you bring a little more intention to the heart. Or the hips, whatever you need, or the neck. Couple breaths, just wiggling. Move the energy through. Allow the emotion to flow. 2 more big breaths. Beautiful. We're going to come on down to the belly for Sphinx pose. So you're going to bring your hips to the earth. And there's lots of options here. You can bring the forearms right out in front. And we're looking for an opening of the heart. Today, with my elbows shoulder width apart, it hurts my back a little bit. It's like a pinch. We didn't come here to pinch ourselves. So what I'm going to do is take my elbows a little wider. Some people like to put a pillow or a blanket right under the ribs so that they have a little extra support. Sometimes it's nice to bring a pillow or a block under the head so that the neck can rest. If this becomes just too much and it does not feel safe, just simply undo the arms and pick a cheek and just lay here. This will be a heart opener in its own way. Take a moment to re-ground yourself with roots, with breath, with red light, whatever is coming to you. Or maybe you see something different. We all connect to this earth energy in different ways, just like we all have different learning styles, different skills and talents. We all connect to our body and to Mother Nature in different ways. So if it doesn't look or feel exactly like I'm describing, go inward. Don't ask me, ask yourself. What does it feel like to ground, to connect to Mother Earth? I'm going to slowly turn on a little heart healing frequency song. And what you can do here is allow that emotion to filter through your heart, right? So whatever that means for you, just as this heart is opening in the next few poses, just allow it to funnel through the heart space, finding a little compassion for yourself or for others. Slowly thread one arm through, so you might need to move your props, bringing one shoulder down to the earth. You can prop under your head if you need. And continue to breathe. Take a big breath here. And then slowly switch sides. Take a big long breath here. Let it go. And then very slowly, very gently, we're going to find child's pose. Take your time, maybe wiggling through cat-cow along the way, finding a down dog if you're called. And then you'll bring the big toes together. The knees can be as wide or as narrow as you'd like. Remembering you can put props under your ankles, behind the knees, or under the forearms, belly, or head. You can also bring the arms stacked on top of each other, forearms out in front, and rest your head. That's a nice option as well. Continuing just to listen to the body, allowing whatever flows up to just say hi to it, acknowledge it, and then let it move on. As best as you can. It's a practice. Just remember that you are safe here. Slowly press yourself up, taking whatever movements feel safe. And then we're going to set up for our final pose. It should be a fairly comfortable resting pose, but I do invite a heart opener. So there's lots of options. You can just lay in Shavasana, arms wide, the heart open. Or my favorite is a gentle, maybe a pillow that fits nicely behind your back, or a blanket or towel rolled into like a little bolster is nice. Right, let's put that behind your back. Sometimes it's nice to make sure your head is supported, so a block or another pillow. And then you just lay back over your props. You can keep your legs like crisscross applesauce, like butterfly, or legs long. Come back to the breath and the body. And just really bring your awareness to your heart space. Maybe you imagine sending breath in and out of the heart. Maybe you see a bright green or pink light emitting from the heart. Maybe you just tap into some of the heart emotions, gratitude, compassion, and love. No matter what you are feeling or going through, you can always find love here. It might not feel as strong sometimes, but it is always there. Gratitude is a beautiful way to fill that space up with a yummy vibe. But love is the unifying force that ties us together, inspires us, and gives us strength to keep going. So I invite you to finish your practice here, either sending excess love out or receiving some love if you feel like you are in need of some extra. There is nothing wrong with needing the love. Maybe you spend the time half and half. Slowly start to deepen the breath. And when you're ready, you can roll to one side fetal pose and then come up to a seated position. Take your time. Of course, like always, just take a moment to notice how you feel. Thank yourself for showing up. Thank your body for doing all that work. May you find happiness in the root of all happiness. Namaste. I put a couple of things in the chat box. There are some journal questions if you'd like. There's two of them. The first one didn't have the like the citation information for who it came from, but if you did feel like you were processing some heavy stuff, do something that brings some joy. Joy is a part of this process. Don't feel bad that you're trying to make yourself happy when we're kind of bringing the balance in. So after this, go outside, connect with an animal that, your pet or Mother Nature, turn on some music and kind of move the body a little more joyfully. Or part of the journal prompts is to just really have fun and get creative with a gratitude list. You can turn this into art with colored pencils and markers and paints and whatever. But just get that creative energy moving through you to help process further. Once again, this class is on me, but if you're called to donate to maybe a charity of your choice instead of donating to me like you normally do, I would love for you to do that. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. I'll stay on for a few moments if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you next week.